the world with no end. And that's all profit.
Done did it again on the hater, man. I don't think they were ready for this one.
They gave y'all the blueprint, man. Just get up and go get your bag. That's how you gotta do it. All hustle, no love. You gotta work for this one.
What's up, traders? It's your boy Ace Boogie coming to you live and direct. I want to go over a couple of trades that I have between the 10th of February and today, Friday. It's Friday when I'm doing this, about 11 p.m. Eastern Standard. So let's go over the losers first. MMNFF. Wow, did this ticker destroy a lot of people? Um, I shouldn't have got destroyed the way I did. On this trade right here, I took a $500 hit. More importantly, it was a 40% loss in my position. Let me show you what I did wrong on this one. It's actually pretty comical just looking back at it. Here's the daily chart. As you can see, it's way overextended, up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green days in a row. And I was short bias. I knew this big drop or a drop. I didn't think it was gonna be able to drop this big, but I knew a drop was inevitable and it was coming soon. And I tried to get short on the stock. But here's what I did and the reason why I lost money. So as you can see, on this day right here, um, well, going back to this little diagram right here, I took two losses on that. I took a little small $30 paper cut, and then I took the big $500 hit. So on this day, which was the 10th, I got short after this failed morning spike after it couldn't push over a $1.50, and I just didn't like how it was holding support. It held this 125 area, like a champ all day and just consolidated on that level. So, and at the time, whenever towards close, Tilray started to push back up. We started looking like they were going to gap up again, and I just didn't feel comfortable holding this short overnight. With the potential for another squeeze and spike in the morning, gap up. So a few times I thought it was going to break. I thought it was really going to roll over right here. It had some nice, rolling over action, and I thought it was going to break that 125 solidly, but it didn't. So at the end of the day, just went ahead and I covered up my shares. I got out, took the little, $30 hit, called it a day. But here's what happened on the 11th. So we started crashing, and basically I was trying to get short this stock. Let me switch it over to the one I was on. However, instead of me hitting the sell button to short, I accidentally hit the buy button thinking I was shorting, and I got filled right here like at 123, and I got caught in this panic. This is a classic OTC panic. I mean, when it's just sell order after sell order right on top of each other, and no buys can get in, or no sells. You can't get your sell order in because it's just dumping. And by the time I was able to get my sell order in, it was already damn near at the bottom. I tried to wait for a bounce. I figured if it dropped it dropped like 50%, almost 40%. So thinking, AM panic dip buy, okay, if it drops 40%, it can probably get like a 10, 20, 30% bounce. So I'm thinking I can probably, you know, reduce and mitigate some of this loss and a bounce back up to, 90 cents a dollar or wherever. But this one just did not bounce. And I know a few other traders that just got, their face kicked in because they were expecting a bounce on this big panic, and it just had no bounce. Um, but no excuse for me. That was definitely a rookie mistake. I wasn't meticulous enough. There's a few reasons why I think I made this mistake. I actually wrote them down, so I'm gonna go back to my notes. Um, the three mistakes that cost me money today. Um, a long MMNFF when I meant to short, and I did that because I was maneuvering through a bunch of other different positions across multiple accounts when I'm not accustomed to that. I'm usually, managing maybe one, two positions at a time. I wanted to take advantage of the opportunity and the weed sector with all of the stocks, going first red day. So I took on more positions that I was used to, and that kind of caused me to make this mistake, and it cost me, and I won't forget this. So takeaway from this trade: make sure if you want to short the stock, you don't hit buy, especially on the OTC stock that's getting ready to panic because you will not get filled. It's moral of the story. So that was my two MMNFF losses: the $30 one on this day and the $500 loss on this day right here. The next thing that we have is AACTF. So this one I took a paper cut as well, lost 63 bucks, but I was on the right track. I just didn't go 100% for me. If I can pull it up, let's see. All right, so AACFF or AACTF. Sorry, these OTC tickers. I'm dyslexic with them. So I saw this one. Let's go back to the daily chart. I saw this one breaking out over this, 41 cent level towards the afternoon, and it looked like it had some momentum. And I was thinking, okay, OTC breakout, may go for 1 to 3 days. So here is the intraday. It spiked up, consolidated all afternoon, and then right at the magic time around 1400 hours. I'm not sure if they had a press release or it was just a breakout or something, or if it's just a breakout, but it basically shot up to that 45 cent region. And I was thinking, okay, maybe this thing can pop 50 and hold. And if it can pop through 50 cents being the key level and hold, then it's definitely primed for more upside. So I got long around like 47 cents or some change. And it did pop up to 50, actually went to like 51 and then pulled real hard. And I had my risk, like right at like 44 cents. So I figured if it breaks under these lows right here, these two candles or these three candles, it probably wasn't going to work out. But I guess my risk was a little bit too tight. It basically pulled back, broke underneath that area to VWAP, and I cut the trade before it had time to really get down there. I didn't want to hold it all the way down to 42 cents, just because if it falls off of 42, it's probably gonna really drop, and I don't want to catch any of that slippage. So I cut it off a little bit early, and as you can see, it bounced back up through VWAP, continued and had a decent close. I was afraid it was gonna have a weak close, and then with a lot of the other
Trading connection lost.
with a lot of the other OTC stocks that were losing momentum the same day, I was kind of skeptical to see if the breakout would even work or if it was going to be like a failed breakout. But as you can see, closed strong. Next day, gapped up, went, and it's like it's going to potentially gap up again. It's closing basically near as high as again. So if I would have got in, if I would have stayed in, I probably would have sold into this top right here. It probably booked about 15, 17%. So it's all good. Just a paper cut on that one. So we'll live through it. The next on the list are the weed stocks. So here was my thesis and my theory on the weed stocks. Um, yeah, I guess my internet went down, but still good. So Tilray, I viewed Tilray as the sector leader on a lot of these weed stocks, on all of the weed stocks. So once I started seeing Tilray break down and start seeing Tilray lose momentum, I figured all of the other weed stocks would probably follow suit. And that's basically what happened. And you can see it had a huge red day. The red day basically gave back all of its 3 day gains in just one day. Um, but I didn't trade till right. So the stocks I traded in the weed sector were ACB, ACB, OGI, IGC, and SNDL. So we're gonna look at those charts. So ACB is the first one. So with ACB and with all of these weed stocks, they started to break down in the pre-market. So I got long or I got short in the pre-market. It only makes sense to get short when it's breaking down. So let me get rid of all this stuff. So opened up in the pre-market, tried to spike up and hold over 22, couldn't get to 22.5, came down and started consolidating in this area. Well, first thing I see is lower highs. So put in a high and put in another high, and this high never got breached again. It just kept making lower highs. But eventually it cracked through VWAP with two hard candles, and it was testing that gap up level, which was the low of the day. And when I saw it getting close to that lower day, I went ahead and put on a starter short that I meant to add to. I just never got a chance to. Of I think I only had like something crazy like 20 shares short. Super small account. So, I don't want to get oversized. And this is what I do with my shorts. I let them work out and then I add to them because it's usually a better swing play, is a better multi day pattern, a multi day trade than it is a day trade. So I usually add, once the pattern confirms. But I didn't get to add to this one. But I shorted perfect short breakdown of the lower day right here where this gap initiated and it just unraveled. It came down in the pre-market. By the time the market opened, it dumped from 18 all the way down to the 16s. And at that point, I was just riding the wave, riding the momentum. I knew that there would be momentary bounces back to, the support level at VWAP. Um, but once it was way under, the red green level, I was fully comfortable in this trade. So I held this one overnight and I covered in the pre-market. Just because I know I think they had like earnings news come out after hours as well. So I didn't want to get caught on a short squeeze bounce. Everyone starts buying it up. So I just kept it conservative. As soon as I woke up, I basically covered the stock. And as you can see, it went a little bit lower. It went a lot of bit lower. And it's closing like right at the 12s. This one might be a good candidate for a first green day buy tomorrow, or not tomorrow, on Tuesday when the markets open back up. Because it seems like it's basing at the support level in the 1230s and kind of making higher lows off of that. So we'll keep this one on watch for first green day because when the stock sells off this much, you know, all the way into the base of support that it came from, you know, it's liable to bounce and have a decent bounce. So we'll keep this one on watch. But yeah, with that ACB trade, shorting it at 2043 and covering at 1469, I made about 25% on that. So that was a decent one. Next one on the list is OGI. So OGI, same thesis, basically same play, except I was able to actually add to this one. Sorry, I can't talk today. Here's the daily. Um, Same type price action, multi-day, 3 day run, followed by a big top wick first red day. So on OGI, this was what I did. So in this one, same type price action, opened up pre-market with a nice Nice little pop up. Tried to spike up through $8. Basically got rejected at the $8 level. Did like a double top with the 8 o'clock candle. And from there it began to, downtrend with Tilray and all the others. So I basically got short when I could. I saw it breaking down. I knew this one was way overextended. I remember this one was like a $2 stock, way overextended. So I got short right before the $7 area broke down, and I added some more right when 625 broke down. So I was a little bit more aggressive on this one just because I knew exactly where it came and how it traded on the way up. I also was pretty convicted with this one because when it had a nice bounce up to the VWAP level and through it, I was able to get a nice little add on here as well. So I had 3 short entries. I think my average price was 635. So this was basically my average price up here where my middle entry was. And same thing, I held it overnight, woke up in the pre-market. I probably wish I would have waited a little bit longer. If I woke up at 7 or 8 a.m., it'd have been great. But of course, I wouldn't wake up at 7 or 8 a.m. knowing I have positions. But I went ahead and covered it. I saw it like sticking right at the $4 level, and I was concerned because it had some resistance, some support from back here when it started to bounce into the close of after hours. So I didn't want this to curl up, get over that, 415, 425 level and do a move like this. Basically, I was scared that this was going to happen right here. So I just covered it up. I had profits. On OGI, I think that was my biggest winner out of the bunch. 35%. Where is it? OGI. So yeah, 35% on that one. And as you can see, OGI did bounce and it's still kind of maintaining the same levels it was at in the pre-market, that slightly sub 4 level. So that was OGI. The next one is IGC. Same thesis, same type of trade. This one had a nice run up and same chart, gave it all back. Once you start studying patterns, you realize, there are patterns and they're going to look the same. And it's not a lot much to be said. Just look at the pattern. SOS, same old shit. All right, so this one, I was able to short, where I get this one, short before it broke down to 375. And once it broke down to 375, it kind of just started flushing. So that's my first entry short. And then my next entry short was after this bounce kind of failed and started coming back down. I got short before that $3 level cracked again. Or I got short for the $3 level crack. Right now, $3, 304 was the low a day at this time frame, which these lows were the lows. So I figured it was going to test those lows if not crack below. So I wanted to get short above that whole dollar level. And that was my add on that. Of course, it stabilized for a bit. And this morning, I went ahead and covered in the pre-market. This one also had a little bit more downside, but I pretty much got all of that move from where I shorted from. I think I had a 350 average, and I banked about 27% on this short for IGC. And the last short that I had yesterday into today was SNDL. So as you can see, same 3-day run up and red days on the daily chart. All right, so SNDL, Same thesis. This one gapped up. This one actually had a nice push before it started reversing. It gapped up from like 350 to 360 and went from 360 to 475. So that's a 30% push before it eventually topped out at the 490s and started coming back down. So I ended up shorting this, the breakdown of this support area from the morning right here. And I probably should have got some ads right here once I saw it rejecting, but I was putting on all these positions right at the same time, early in the morning, kind of groggy. So I don't blame myself for not being perfect with it. I did get an ad. I got my ad right before the $3 level cracked on this one as well. And it broke down nicely after that. It did have another bounce. I watched this bounce. I didn't add it because I didn't want to overextend myself or overextend my margin. Just in case it did do something crazy. I know this was one of the Wall Street bet stocks, or one of them that was running with the Wall Street bet stocks. So I know how crazy these could get shorting, and you got to keep that in mind always. So yeah, so it bounced, came back down, same price action basically. Next morning, this morning in the pre-market, I covered when I saw it started to do this little bounce. So I probably could have waited like 5 minutes and made, or waited another 20 minutes and made another 10%. But it is what it is. I'm satisfied with that one. As you can see, it went a little bit lower, but it's starting to stabilize as well. I think all of these weed stocks are going to have first green days come Tuesday. Pretty sure of it. On SNDL, this one 32%. So that one was another strong winner. So the last trade I want to go over was one I took today, LKCO. Get that one pulled up. So this one is pretty interesting. Yes, it's the one, two, three, four, fifth green day, and I was buying, and this is why. I saw the volume increase in number one, but I also saw it breaking out over these 141 highs. Let me get rid of these other trend lines. So yeah, I saw it breaking out over this 141 area. Ended up getting long like at 143, 140, 143, and then adding some more at 150 when that broke out, thinking that they can, probably pop 175 and if not try two, from these levels back here. So that was my hopes and intentions. I saw the volume, or not that volume. I saw the volume increasing. It was like midday, late morning. It was about late morning, and the volume was already at like 25 mil, which was half of the previous day's total volume. So increasing volume, a chart that's bumping into resistance. I think this one had the potential to go. So here's what I did on it. I longed it at that 143 area into that little push. I probably should have got in at like 139. I was watching that 139, but I was still trying to do some due diligence to see if it had news, check out the flow and all that other stuff. So I got in kind of late. I definitely wanted to get in before it pushed 150. I added once it pushed 150. And once it started looking toppy, not sure what I mean. It started looking toppy like in this area, or in this area right here, in the 165 to 167 area. It just kept going up and down, up and down. I just got impatient with it. I felt like, it was hitting a major area of resistance. So I went ahead and took it off for, a small little 10% single. And as you can see, it came down, made a little base. Draw this line in for my future reference. Came down and bounced, broke out again, tried to get to 175 and then just kind of came all the way back down to VWAP. So I'm glad I really didn't stick around for this. It would have been a nice little ad because I do think this goes higher tomorrow or on Tuesday, that trading day. So it'd have been a nice ad to get in on this little VWAP dip. But I definitely need to see it make a higher high before I'm 100% convicted. Hopefully this opens up 170s and pushes 175 and then we'll be looking at some other levels. But that was the trade on LKCO. Nothing crazy, nothing huge. I just saw some potential and took advantage with it. That is about it. I don't have anything else for you. Like I said, all of these weed stocks, including Tilray, CGC, all of those stocks, they are way crazy oversold. I think most of the longs are washed out, besides the people who are going to be, yearly bag holders. Most traders are washed out. Most shorts are starting to cover. So I think it should be a decent amount of buying pressure tomorrow for this to make a bounce. Doesn't have to do anything crazy. Probably bounce back up to 15, maybe even try 16. So with some percentage points on the table. The one I'm really looking at is SBDL because this is one that likes to get pumped, and OGI because OGI actually is making like a slight green day. If I edit my chart and take off the after hours, it shows a slight green day, a nice little bounce day right here. So I think that momentum could probably continue. I think this one will be the most ideal for a bounce of that nature because it's holding at a higher level than all of the other ones. But that's just my 2 cents. I don't want to keep you long. Definitely wanted to review those trades before the weekend got into full effect and I started forgetting the details. Have any questions? Feel free to hit me up on Twitter or on this YouTube video. Once again, it's Ace Boogie 2488. I'm out. Peace.
Move smooth and focus on goals. I'm going hard for my family. Yeah, I gotta get the band for my foes. So I'm glad and I'm bold. Black is a new light. So much cash it don't fold. That's exactly what I like. I wake up feeling so blessed. My cake up is no stress. Make sure you get them checks. That's the blueprint.